Nick Cannon really went on that podcast and said, in my marriage with Mariah, I wasn't the star. I was holding her bags.
When we talk about how some men talk about how they want to be with successful women, but they cannot stand successful women. Nick Cannon is the definition of it, and he has actually come out to speak about this. Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is about Nick Cannon on a podcast, and he was talking about the time he was married to the Mariah Carey. And he was talking about how the dynamic of the relationship, how he felt small, unseen in that dynamic because Mariah Carey was a bigger star, and how he was the one holding the diaper bag, the handbag, and standing in a corner while she shines through. And this is a conversation that we have repeatedly here as women. And you guys know what we do here. We always try to tell women to be very intentional about life. But sometimes you still see some women coming to talk about, oh, I earn more than my husband. I do better than my husband, but he still loves me and respects me. But this Kini Canon is just here to prove it that, yeah, these men, as much as they say, oh, we can handle it, they can really handle it. And we've come to see how Nikano has trickled down to having multiple children by different baby mama. And this just actually make more sense to see the type of women he choose to have children with after Mariah Carey, that he chose to have women that he was the star of the show, not them. Anyway, guys, let's go check out this interview and people's response to this interview, and then I'll come back and share my thought on this. But I want to know what you think about it. Okay, so let's go check it out, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Because, I got married in my 20s still, you know what I mean, to the biggest star in the world. And my trajectory was here, and then hers, she's already in a different stratosphere. So, I would lay up at night thinking, like, is this who I am? Am I Mariah's man? Is that what my life is supposed to be? There's nothing wrong with it.
I understand it though. Like, it's like,
and I got really comfortable in it. She got islands, and I'm waking up at noon, and people bringing me steaks on a platter. And I'm like, this ain't,
you had to
this
be a
ain't the
different version
hustler.
of yourself.
Yeah,
exactly.
this
Like,
ain't the kid.
I can't go provide. I can't go hunt. That's who I am. I want to hunt. But
And then when you have children, and the hierarchy of just your man is like, wait, I can't. I'm carrying a purse, the diaper bag, I'm standing on the corner. I'm like, wait, she rocking being all the alpha that she
by the way,
is.
she deserves it. By the way,
and she did. I believe she needs a dude like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not that dude, and her and I never had problems.
Yeah.
Never argued. Never even with me struggling in this space.
Yeah.
She was like, she's so understanding and so evolved and lives in her own world. That's the thing. When someone has their own world, and like you said, their own scope, their own bubble, and you got to be a participant in that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm main character, and I was getting mad at myself. It was like muscle atrophy. I'm like, I had a gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, I'm not being the dude that God put me on this earth to be.
Let me know what you think about all what he said down in the comment section. You got married to one of the biggest stars in the world. You don't have to even lift a finger, okay? You don't need to provide for her because she can provide for herself. And this is it when, especially women that have their life together, they have their finance together, and know that. Be very careful, because a lot of the men will say, oh, it doesn't bother, I love a strong, independent woman. But the thing that will eat them up is their ego, is their pride. It's like what ate him up was the fact that he was carrying bags. What hit him bad was the fact that once children, after she bets these children, is that he was the one standing on the sideline. I have so much to say, but let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Go ahead and share your thoughts. This video has gotten a lot of people talking. People have so much to say. So we're going to check out people's thoughts on this, and then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts and life lessons. Okay, ladies, and life lessons. And then we'll come back and talk more. So let me know your own take down in the comment sections.
Did you guys hear the interview with Nick Cannon? And he kind of touched on his marriage with Mariah Carey. But was I the only one that took away that he felt some way about her being on a different level than him? Because he said he felt like he wasn't the main character. And it's true. You have to be evenly yoked with your spouse. He said he felt like he wasn't the dude for her. Like, she had her own little bubble going on, her own little world. And he would lay up and think, like, am I being considered as Mariah Carey's husband? That speaks volume to me. He needed to find women that couldn't equate to him, that will make him feel like, basically to me, make him feel like he's somebody. Because Mariah already had her own world going on. She, you know what I'm saying? Her whole world didn't revolve around Nick Cannon. And to me, that's what it seemed like he was looking for. Where he can be put in that space to be looked at as the main character, as he stated himself. That's crazy. You know, he said they never had any issues. They never had any arguments. So it only failed because you felt like you couldn't be considered as Mariah Carey's husband. Your ego, basically, is how I looked at it. And although, like I say, he's never said anything bad about her, but just off of hearing that interview, he felt like it was no space for him. He felt like he wasn't the main character, as he stated. I don't know, did anybody else hear that interview? And tell me what you got from it. Put it in the comments for me.
Church, once upon a time, there was a man named Nick Cannon, who at the age of 27 years old married 39-year-old superstar Mariah Carey and had 2 children. Now, Nick was somewhat established in his own right, but of course he couldn't hold a candle to Mariah's star power or her wealth. And the fact that she did not need him, though she wanted him, slowly but surely started to create feelings of inadequacy within Nick about his own manhood, and eventually led to the dissolution of their marriage due to his own insecurities. So what does Nick do then? He goes out and creates 10 more children by 5 different women and creates a web that's entirely dependent on him at the center as the man. Now, church, my question to y'all is this. Do y'all think that Nick feels like the man now? Look, Nick made these revelations on a recent podcast, and I'm all about revelations and introspection. God knows I spend 1 day a week in a therapist's office trying to get my life together. But the thing about it is this. Most people who are out there looking for a healing for their soul, they go to therapy, they talk to God, they spend time by themselves, okay? They don't literally go out and create multitudes of single parent households to heal what's going on inside, okay? So as I told y'all, I'm all about introspections. I'm all about revelations. I just wish that these introspections and revelations would have happened about 11 children ago. Now, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation, and we'll talk later.
You mean to tell me Nick Cannon possibly ruined his marriage because he was married to Mariah Carey? Dude, you know what you were getting into. You knew exactly who you married. Did you actually think that you were a bigger star than she was? And I got a problem, because that means your ego was that big that you felt inferior to your wife. Granted, I don't know your household, so I don't know if she made you feel that way. And if she did, then that's another conversation for another day. But for this conversation, we have got to let go of the egos. We've got to let it go. There's no way we're trying to marry women and we got an ego the size of a darn Empire State Building. It's a partnership. And it doesn't matter if she ends up making more money than you or she's a bigger star than you. So what? If your household is ran properly, it don't matter. Let me get someone who's making 6 figures. I mean, I'm close, but I ain't that close. Baby, what you need? I'll do whatever you want. And I know plenty of relationships where the man is not making as much as the woman. That they're not lacking anything. It's a partnership. It's a marriage. Get over yourself.
Nick Cannon, because we're going to talk about it. Now, I haven't seen the new interview because I'm frankly over Nick Cannon and his shenanigans. But I do want to talk about how Nick Cannon said when he first married Mariah Carey that he had prayed to God to marry this woman. He said that when he was younger, that when he made it big, he was going to marry Mariah Carey. He was very specific in his. Mariah Carey had always been Mariah Carey when her and Nick got together. Nick Cannon had just started being Nick Cannon. They get married, and then they have these two twins. So everything was all fine and good, and life was going peachy cream. Then they got divorced. Nick Cannon said that it was people in Mariah's camp that was in her ear, which made her look at him a certain type of way, which caused trouble in their relationship. Now, all of a sudden, he goes and says it was because he was insecure. And I'm assuming this is why he started having all these children everywhere. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But my question is, why would you go through all the rigmarole of praying specifically to get this woman, and then say it was people in her camp that was dividing y'all? But now in an interview, you say it was because of all your insecurities, because of who she was, and all of this and all of that. Why did you blame her in the first place? I really just want Nick Cannon to go sit down somewhere. Because what it sounds like is all of this time, he's been missing his wife, and he want her back. That's what it sounds like. And she ain't trying to hear it.
Nick Cannon really went on that podcast and said, in my marriage with Mariah, I wasn't the star. I was holding her bags. I wasn't used to that. That wasn't going to work for me. I was not that man. Not my marriage didn't work because, Mariah couldn't fulfill my needs, because my extremely fragile ego could not handle the fact that I married a woman that was a star, that was bigger than me, that has been working her entire life to build herself up to be this mega superstar. Her fame and fortune overshadowed his, and that hurt his poor little ego. That's why their marriage ended. So, ladies, when men come around and talk about, oh, what do you bring to the table? Y'all gotta bring more than cooking, cleaning, and taking care of us. They want successful women as long as the success is not higher than theirs. But the way we're going, it's not very hard. Because they're not very bright. Nick Cannon is a loser. If we're being honest, let's get candid. Nick Cannon is a loser. He impregnates girls that he hires for wilding out. How many of his baby mamas work on wilding out? No, honestly, how many of Nick Cannon's baby mamas are wilding out girls? 3, 4, 6, 8? These men, Corey Holcomb went on that show and said it. These men want women that they are able to have power over. And normally that power is financial, because that's all they have. That's literally all they have is money. Nothing else. Nothing of substance. No character. Just a wallet. And sometimes the wallet's not even that big. That's the scary part. That is the scary part. These men want to hold this dingy little wallet over your head. And that's why I don't want no rich. I want to be the rich.
So I saw a few clips of the interview where Nick Cannon was sharing the reasons why his marriage with Mariah Carey didn't work out. And I see where a lot of people are in the comments like bashing him. And I just don't agree with some of the things that the women are saying towards him. And here are a few reasons why. Number one, I commend Nick Cannon for being brave enough to admit something that many men will never admit. Oftentimes when men talk about why their relationship with a successful or thriving woman didn't work out, they will put it entirely on the woman. Whereas Nick Cannon was honest and he was saying it wasn't necessarily anything that she did wrong. He just knew that he was not comfortable in that position. Number two, I don't think there's anything wrong with a man wanting to be recognized for his own personal accomplishments as opposed to being acknowledged because of his wife's success. I don't think there's anything wrong with a man wanting his own legacy. Number three, I believe the way Nick Cannon handled the situation was a lot healthier than what many men do. It can be an extremely unhealthy relationship when a man feels inadequate around his woman because he can start becoming bitter and resentful and jealous and having this unhealthy sense of competition and feeling like he has to do things to assert his dominance or do things to feel like he is still the man of the house, to feel like he's the one wearing the pants. Some men, they will be in that situation. They'll be attracted to her greatness. They'll be attracted to whatever it is that she's doing because they feel like they can win with this woman or they feel like they can grow with this woman, but they can't handle the reality of being in a relationship with a woman like that. Especially if she is making more money than he is, or if she has more status than she does. And I'm not talking about women who are overly masculine and things. I'm talking about women who are just doing well in life. And instead of them being honest with themselves and leaving the way Nick Cannon did, some men will stay in that situation and then they'll try to tear their woman down. Some men become very abusive. Some men start cheating a lot for no reason. Some men start developing vices like drinking heavily or feeling like they have to do something to try to escape their reality. You know, some men will try to get their woman to sacrifice her career or her passion or whatever it is so that she can just prioritize him, right? Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that if that's something that the woman wants to do, if that's the type of lifestyle she desires to live. And if a woman really loves a man, she might notice that he's becoming depressed. She might notice that he isn't himself or he doesn't feel as capable or competent. And some women will kind of like stop with their career. They will slow down on achieving whatever they're trying to achieve. Some women will try to make their man her manager or whatever. They'll try to get him involved so that he can feel better about it. But none of that will matter if he doesn't want it. And again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I just think that people need to be on the same page about that from the beginning. Like, do you share the same values? Are gender roles important to you? Would you rather be a career woman or a traditional woman? Like, all of these conversations need to be had. But again, I don't think that he should be receiving the backlash that he's getting, because he could have been one of those type of men. He could have been one of those men that was attracted to her light and then came into her life and tried to dim it, like some men do. But he wasn't. He was smart enough and he realized for himself what he wanted for himself in his future, and that wasn't it for him. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. But that's just my opinion. What do you think?
Nick Cannon is shaking, and he made a couple comments on a podcast that I would honestly... You know what? If I was to be honest and run it back, y'all, I would say Chrissy's thoughts are shaking. Because I have thoughts on this. We're just going to have a time where I'm going to tell y'all what I think about what Nick Cannon said on a podcast about his relationship with Mariah Carey and why it did not last. I got a couple thoughts. This is going to be quick, but this is going to be insightful. Y'all going to be able to talk to me. So let's talk about it. So first of all, I am number one lamb Mariah Carey stan, okay? I know Mariah Carey's real life all the way down to the T, baby. Quiz me and I will win, okay? So Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon got married, and this is her, you know, not her first husband. Her first husband was Tommy Mottola. And y'all remember Tommy Mottola was this very powerful white man that was so powerful, Michael Jackson was going up against him for the things that he did in the music industry back in the day. He's really the reason why she was able to come out and have the career that she had. So you got to look at Mariah as someone who ended up first kind of as a sugar baby. You know what I mean? Leading into a relationship with Nick Cannon where she's the breadwinner, you know? Hold on to that part of the thought. Okay. Well, she went through a lot of abuse with Tommy Mottola, sick stuff. Like, she couldn't leave the house. She couldn't really talk to nobody. Guards everywhere. Everything's very regulated. I told y'all the story before about how Tommy Mottola's goons were about to beat up Jermaine Dupri because Mariah Carey and the Brat snuck out and got McDonald's. Like, it was that much of a all-seeing eye on Mariah Carey when she was going through this industry first starting out. So when she got with Nick Cannon, that's a freedom she never experienced. That's a black man. Because if you know Mariah Carey, that's a real, okay? That's damn near a gangster. Like, Mariah Carey, she's a good hood jam. She is. And that's what we always loved about her. And when she got with Nick Cannon, we saw promise in that. He was young. He was innocent. His career was actually a little bit stronger than it is now. And we saw a bright future for the two of them. They had the twins, them babies, Moroccan and Moreau, Rock and Roll. And Nick Cannon, literally, when they first got together, went on a press tour about how this was the girl of his dreams. It'll be like a 16-year-old me growing up and marrying Chris Brown. Although that's not what I want. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That would have been like, wow, I really married Chris Brown. Who would have thought that? I really ate with that. And Nick Cannon, he went on so many comedy tours. I literally won that game of, I hope I married this person in 1996 and actually married her. And he seemed to have a lot of gratitude and appreciation for being with Mariah Carey. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, he went on a podcast and he said what really happened to end the demise of the relationships. And if I was going to sum it up, I would just say insecurities. He said that Mariah has her own world and you come into her world. She's already established. And he said a man like him basically couldn't take that kind of him being the lesser in the relationship as the male who is generally the dominant figure. There's really a hard, there's a hard ranking when it comes to Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. So he felt that in the relationship, and it shows in his actions today, getting all these young mixed girls pregnant and kind of having more dominance over their situation. A lot of these girls, he's their first and only baby dads. That's dominance. A lot of these girls that go back and they kind of need him for attention because his attention is spread so thin throughout 11 kids. And so, in that, he's kind of showing that he wanted to regain some kind of, heavy, toxic masculinity and dominance over the women in his life because he couldn't fully dominate a Mariah Carey. Now, what bothers me in this situation is, you knew who she was. Mariah Carey did not Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana you, where she was like, oop, didn't tell you, I'm a star. Ah, I forgot to tell you, I'm a huge star. Okay, yes, I'm actually a princess. No, you knew who Mariah Carey was when you walked in that door. Now, it's tough for women in high positions in their life to find men that feel comfortable with their positions. Let's just have a real conversation. Yes, your wife can be the breadwinner, but I feel like there's still a certain level of submission that needs to go on that household to make it work from the feminine energy in that house. This is just my opinion. I am an island woman. I'm a West Indian woman. I'm naturally submissive. That's just us. I know that Rihanna, although she's a billionaire to A$AP Rocky's, couple million, and she really brought his career back up. I know an island woman, baby, and if you're a West Indian, if you're an islander, if you're from the Caribbean, you already know that lady is in there barefoot, shaking up them chicken bones and sauteing them in that pan, okay? I feel like she's in there rubbing feet, telling him how he's the real fashion killer. That's us as a culture. We bow down to our men. It's actually sickening. And it sometimes puts us in a bad position where we stay in situations long enough and men run over us culturally. That's another conversation. Mm-hmm. I'm a Black American woman, but if you know, you know. You know what I mean? So that level of submission is going to come out of me naturally. I cater, and it's sick. I'm talking about grease your scalp, rub your feet, cook your food, wash your back, scratch your back, oil your back, pick the bumps off your back. It's sick. Mariah Carey, although definitely probably a submissive woman, and he said they got along great. She ain't got no time for that. It's Christmas, and Mama gotta sing.
Exactly.
And now, throughout the years, we found out that Nick Cannon did not own Wild 'N Out. So his level of billions of dollars that we might have thought he had to match Mariah Carey probably did not match. And so therefore, he dismantled his marriage. Now I feel bad for Mariah Carey because she ended up dating that white man after, and he was like a billionaire, and that didn't work out. But she ended up suing him for money. And Nick Cannon used to say that she would threaten him and say, I'm going to go find a man with more money than you. Red flag to a man that's already insecure, already a little bit broken about your stature in life. I would have never said that to him. I just would have been like, babe, I can't find nobody else like you. But who knows if that would have got him to stay. It's a real conversation about hierarchies in relationships. Now, here's my word of warning. Technically, I think if you're a woman of this many means, I would already started out with a billionaire. My man now, he has made more than me and his company, millions more. So I have not reached the pinnacles financially that he has reached yet. But I might have more fame. I have not seen more money. So that dynamic of I still got something to teach you, I still got something to show you is there. And I feel like with an alpha male, there's a level of comfort in that. Let's have a real conversation about what y'all think about this. So y'all write me down in the comments, like, share, and subscribe. But let me know what y'all think. What does a woman do when she's so powerful? She's trying to find a man to be the man in her house, run her household, but the insecurities of finances and status get in the way. What's a girl to do?
Wow, I love how she actually broke it down the way I would break it down. Like, I really do love her. Like, yes, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this entire conversation down in the comment section. But always, please keep it respectful. Yeah, on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thought. Okay? So love to, you guys know, let's be respectful. Let's just do this. This conversation is very interesting because I did a video about a week ago of a comedian who came to talk about how he likes dating women that are poor because for that he can have edge over him, he can have control and just financial abuse. And this Nick Cannon own situation just even plays that part. We even saw Cam Newton too talking about how he has multiple baby mama boys not ready to get married. And we also saw Nick Cannon after Mariah Carey, he went on to have multiple baby mama and multiple children with girls that cannot even, like, in terms of success, they are literally nothing where Mariah Carey is. And this just brings the conversation. And like the other lady said, Nick Cannon, Mariah Carey is his dream girl. Because sometimes we've had this conversation here already on this channel too, when we're talking about men, when they marry their dream girl, they stay, and how if you're not their dream girl, they treat you her because you're not their dream girl. Nick Cannon was the one that got married to his dream girl that he has always prayed for all his life. And he got married to her. Even with the age difference, Mariah Carey was still with him, and she was still, I feel, because he has never said anything bad about her, she was still very, very humble being with him. But the only thing that got their way is his insecurity and ego. And this is where this whole thing comes in, where we talk about how men talk about how they want to have a successful woman, but they don't want you to be that successful that they feel like they are the back burner of it. They want you at least successful, but they are more successful than you. And if you are a woman that is successful, you're doing well for yourself, you really have to be very careful, because I know the need of wanting a man, not needing a man. I understand the need of wanting a man, but you also have to be very careful, because a lot of these men initially will say, oh, I love a strong, powerful woman. Maybe at that time they might not even understand how powerful and how financially independent and how strong you are as a woman. But once they get into your world, it now becomes like reality hits them when they're inside rather than when they're outside. Nick Cannon knows exactly who Mariah Carey is, and he wanted her. She was his dream girl, and he got in there and he could not undo it. And that's the only reason. He didn't say, oh, I didn't love her anymore, she didn't cater for me, or she disrespect me. It was just his ego, him feeling smaller than her. That was it. And I understand, like, from the Mariah Carey, because I understand from the Mariah Carey point of view, not from the point, from Mariah Carey's side, because Mariah Carey was married to Tony, the Sony music executive guy, and she saw the control, the abuse that comes from a man. Now this is where, like, when we hear married women talk and one younger girls on marriage and men and all that, and people are like, oh, so what do you do? The truth is that when you've experienced it, sometimes it just helps you to, it builds you, and it's just almost like you're wised up and you woke up, even if you're not 100% and all that, you just kind of know some kind of things that it's not all that glitters the gold. And the idea and the perception of relationship marriage that was being sold to you is really different, and I feel like that's why she wanted something really different when it comes to Nick Cannon. But even at that, she understands that she can walk away, and she will walk away. So she put herself in a position where if it does no longer serve her, she will walk away, and that is exactly what she did. And this is where, as ladies, I'll always tell you, get your bag up. One of the things that will make you more secure without a man and be able to walk away from a man is you having your bag up. A lot of people will tell you otherwise and say, oh, it's children, it's you being submissive. See, you can be the most submissive woman ever, and a man will still feel insecure if he wants to feel insecure. A man will still feel some type of way if he still wants to feel some type of way, especially when he has not done the work to heal his inner trauma and understanding who he is as a person. And that is what exactly Nick Cannon did. He used his own hand to sabotage his own beautiful marriage. God gave him a beautiful woman that already, like, you don't have to even bother yourself in terms of her taking care of her. She gave you 2 beautiful children. You have your career going for you, and yet you still felt some type of way like you want to be the center of it. And that was what led Nick Cannon to be in that place where he's having multiple children, having baby mamas, where he can tell them what to do, tell them to sit like that. It feels like that's where his masculine sits. And there are lots of men, not all men, there's a lot of men that will sabotage a good relationship, a good marriage, just because of their ego. And as women, you need to get yourself, you need to protect yourself, you need to know yourself and know exactly what you want. I feel like it was a lot easier for Mariah Carey to just, like, you know what, I'm off, this thing is not working, bye, I'm done. Because she has her own. She probably know herself. She knows exactly what she was getting into when she said, I want to marry this man, because she has experienced marriage and experienced it in a different way where there was control. And at this time, she took the control back for herself and knew that she was going to lose. So as ladies, that's one thing we talk about here on this channel, telling women on how you take control of your life, take charge of your life, be very intentional about your life. Do things because you want to do them, not because you want to cater to a man or keep a man. And I know a lot of us was being raised to be that way, especially Caribbean women, like the other sister said, and even African women, like, oh, you have to dim your light for your man. Don't dim your light for anybody. Anybody that cannot stay for you to shine as bright as you are, then the person is not for you and the person should go. And this is why you should find somebody with the same core value, equal yoke and all that, which is really rare, especially when you're a successful woman and you have a voice, you are very independent, and there's some form of masculinity going on with you. No matter how feminine you are, but if you have your own, there's always that aura of having your masculinity coming out, because you'll be able to take care of yourself, have your own shit, have your life together before a man comes into your world. So with that, I'll say, be very intentional. Be very, very intentional about the people you bring into your life, and don't dim your lights, because a lot of people will say, okay, you can dim your light and all that. Dim your light. No, don't dim your light for nobody. And the sister talking about how Nick Cannon did it in a more healthier way. I kind of agree, like, with some of the things she said. Like, yeah, some men will be in that type of dynamic and literally sabotage you as the wife. And this is why I said, as women, if you are a successful woman, you're doing well for yourself, be very, very careful, because some of these men will not be like Nick Cannon, that is going to leave you or that's going to express it to you. A lot of them will still pretend to be with you, but low-key they are sabotaging you so that they can be. And sometimes they may even blackmail you, emotionally manipulate you to give up your shine for them. And don't do that. Don't do that. So anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But as always, please keep it respectful. Yeah, on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thought. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.